Today I want to teach you everything I know about threaded inserts. Now this is a threaded insert. As you can see, it has threads on the outside and on the inside. This is a T-bolt, and I'll show you how to install both of these guys because it's incredibly useful to know how to use them. They're both used to connect two pieces of wood together. Now, where these are similar is either one of these guys, when you install them, they get installed on the bottom piece of the wood. Where they are different is the threaded insert, this one, gets attached on the top part of the bottom piece of the wood. It goes in like this. I'll show you an easy way to install them. The T-bolt, it goes on the underneath side of the bottom piece of the wood. Now threaded inserts, this one for example, you see has a hex shape in the middle, and it comes with a hex key so you can easily screw it into the piece of wood. Sometimes you might buy them and they, instead of that hex shape, it comes with a little slot like this, and this is for, you can just use a flathead screwdriver to install them. This particular threaded insert is made for metals and this one is for wood. This one, it's a 1/4-20 threaded insert, and we'll talk about that in a second. Now let's demonstrate how to install these guys. So I have my two pieces of wood. I'm going to put the small one on the bottom and the long one on the top. Let's say I want to connect these two pieces together. If I'll just use screws and I have to undo or redo many times, the threads will get stripped. So it's better to use threaded insert, especially when you have big pieces of furniture that you might take apart. Like let's say you have a desk or a table and you want to replace the top, or you are making pieces of furniture and they're too big and you need to ship them. So you need to take them apart into smaller pieces, and then the customer will reassemble it easily because you put threaded inserts. Now, when you buy your threaded inserts, they will come with little instructions like this. These instructions will tell you what size hole you need to drill for softwood and what size hole you need to drill for hardwood. And if we look at our threaded insert, where did I put it? You will see that the bottom is tapered, so it's skinnier than the top. And if we look at the instructions, it tells us for softwood, we need to drill a hole for this 1/4-20 thread. It could be 8.5 millimeter, 9 or 9.5. And that's because softwood, it's so much softer. So if the hole is smaller, then you can work this threaded insert into it, and you'll just go right through it. If you're working with hardwood, you should use 9.5 millimeters, so the larger dimension. That's because you can't force this threaded insert into the hardwood, where your wood will split. Also, it will be really hard to work this thing in. I should also mention that if you have to insert your threaded inserts in the very edge of a board or the end grain, you will want to choose the larger diameter hole. And that's because you don't want to force that insert into the end grain or the edge, because it will crack your piece of wood. Now, you might think, well, it's not going to be secure because the hole is loose and the threaded insert might just pop out. That's when I use 5-minute epoxy. I love this one. This is a 5-minute epoxy. It's very, very easy to use. And I will just drizzle a tiny little bit of the epoxy onto the threads of the insert and then put it in, let it sit for 5 minutes to cure, and then you are good to go. Now I'm going to demonstrate to you how do we attach these two pieces of wood together. We're going to attach them something like this. And I already pre-drilled the holes. And you remember I said the threaded inserts go on the top portion of the bottom piece of wood. So I'm going to take my threaded insert and just screw it into the bottom portion of the wood. And there goes one. And then I'm going to do another one, because just like when you use screws, you need to put two of them, otherwise your wood just can spin, around the other. So 2 inserts. All right, so now we have 2 inserts, and this will be my bottom piece. Now I'll take my top piece And I'll take my bolt and a washer, put it through the top piece, and then screw it into the bottom one. Now, because I have two of them, it's easier for me to take my second one as well with the washer and put it through so I can see where the hole is. And now thread both of these bolts in. And make sure you tighten it. And now we attach these two pieces of wood together. It's a very, very solid connection. And you can unscrew this and screw it back in as many times as you want, and you will not strip the threads. So that's how you use the threaded inserts. Now, if I wanted to have these guys not protruding on the outside, I would probably use this flathead bolt and then just do a countersink with this drill bit. This is my favorite drill bit for countersinking. And then this one will just, sit on the inside of the wood. So now let's show you how to use the T-bolts. Here I have my two pieces of material again, and if you remember, I told you that the T-bolts, they get installed on the bottom piece of wood. So it will go over here. Now, looking carefully at this, you see it has these four prongs. So you could just take this, put it on your hole, and just whack it with a hammer and install it this way. But there is an easier way, a better way of installing these guys. Now, the easier way to install these T-bolts is to use the nut itself. So I'm going to use this bolt. I'm going to put a washer on it, thread it through the hole, and then thread it on my T-nut. And then just tighten it. And you will see, as I tighten it, it will just pull it into the wood. Just like that. And now I can take my bolt back out. So you can see our T-nut, it's installed. And now we can take our piece of wood, and just like before, we would put the bolt with the washer through the top of the top piece of wood, and then it will thread into that T-nut on the bottom, something like this. Of course, you will use two of them. And now we securely installed the T-nut and we put the bolt through it, and now these two pieces of wood are very, very strong connection. And you might ask, well, yes, but I don't want this piece to stick out over here. How can I make this one so it's countersink? So let me show you about countersinking your T-nut. To countersink your T-nut, you will need a Forstner bit. Now for this 1/4 T-nuts, a 3/4 inch Forstner bit will work perfectly. It's just the right size. And the thing is, you do not want to countersink your T-nut after you pre-drill the hole, because you can see that the Forstner bit has a point where in the middle is, and it's hard to find the exact middle reference when you already have a hole in there. So we need to countersink the T-nut with the Forstner bit first, and then we need to drill the hole for the bolt. So now that I use the Forstner bit to countersink my T-nut, you can see it will fit in there perfectly. Now I have the center of the Forstner bit, this hole, and that will guide me exactly in the middle, so I know where to drill the hole for the bolt. I should also mention that I'm using a Brad point drill bit over here, because it has this pointed thing that it could easily guide me right into the center of the hole. That way I know I am staying completely centered. And now we're ready to install our T-nut again. So I'll use the same procedure. I will set it up over there. and use my bolt with the washer. Take the bolt off. And now you can see it's completely flushed and nothing is sticking out. And now, of course, we can take our piece of wood, thread the bolt through the top, and now thread it through our insert. And this is how you use the T-nuts. Of course, just like before, you would use 2 of them, and that's how it's done. I hope this was useful to you and you learned something new. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Skylar Ewing, and I'll see you in my next video.